Hello everyone. I noticed I haven't really done a video in a day or two, so I really haven't got too much to talk about, but you should certainly stay tuned and watch to the end. Um, I've been watching this morning, a video from Morg Official. He's a pretty cool character. Certainly interesting, really good, interesting insights, a great delivery as well on his videos. He's been at it for quite some time now. 682,000 subscribers. So the I just wanted to give him a shout out. His channel is called Morg Official. Morg Official, like morgue, place of where dead people go. Morg Official. And this video specifically here is called "I Found Every Verse That Proves God is the Devil, So You Don't Have to." It's a bit of a strong title, but it is a really good video, and I think he basically has done exactly what he sets out to do in the video. It's only about, I think it's less than an hour long. It is 52 minutes long. So just to expand on that, I really want to get into going forward and read for the first time some of the Gnostic works because I've read some of them, but really begin to look at what they were saying and what we can determine from their own treatises and their own texts and stuff. Because I am beginning to believe now, based on what I do know, that they were probably the original Christians. Their works seem to be shorter. Many of them kind of take the form. Some of them take the form of sayings, gospels, so we can reasonably talk about, say, the Gospel of Thomas in a more primitive form, not the one we have today, maybe being pre-canonical gospel. I think there was a real need in the Greco-Roman world when your whole life is now changing. If you are, say, Jewish, and you're taking on a lot more Hellenistic ideas, thoughts, concepts on morality and stuff, and you still have this brutal Old Testament doctrine, pagan, bloody. Your God demands sacrifices. He thinks nothing of killing, well, the whole planet again, and I think and killing Amalekites and Canaanites and so on, Ebionites, when he tortures his own people, Saul and Job and so on. Really backward stuff. Accepts virgin sacrifices. I mean, literally satanic stuff. These are the things you saw in the, those old 60s and 70s horror films. Talking about the devil. Well, that's in the Old Testament. That's God. So I really need to start thinking about how we're going to approach this whole notion here. And we've gone through many aspects of this, and I think Marcion's a key component of this. But the original books there, and many of the original Christians, of course, far more than the Orthodox Christianity that was probably to come later, and appears to have come later on. If we look at the large S, the length and the extent of the original Gnostic churches as per the church fathers, because they tell us how large they are and how the followings of these persons, these church heads in the Gnostic churches were substantial. They garnered a lot of critical acclaim, almost becoming popes and stuff like this, even in relatively late times. When we look at the the advent of this. When I say late, I mean not late 2nd century, mid-2nd century and stuff like this. So it's not very late, but accordingly, we have to look at the nature and the essence of this Jesus character. And if you look to John, you'll see it. If you look to the Gospel of Judas, you see this. So it's really worth checking out though, and it's of course something that we cannot continue to uphold in this day and age. The notion here that so many Christians effectively support the Old Testament and in a wishy-washy way, as we went into recently, we'll try and say that Jesus is bringing the new covenant, and it's a covenant of mercy and love and goodwill and so on. Well, yeah, if you cherry pick it that way. So truly, like, only if you cherry pick that stuff. He still demands death to people who do not believe in him. He still, we've been through it. Sorry, I'm a little tired this morning. Anyway, just wanted to put that out. Very good video. Morg Official is the channel. I found every verse that proves God is the devil, so you don't have to. Really worth checking out, and have a look at some of his videos as well. They're really, really good. He's been at this for a long time. And also he talks about Jungian archetypes later on, I think, in a core psychological way here. We can start to see the nature here of God, and the other half of God in the Old Testament being brutal, barbaric, the Satan character, and all of this. The notion here that people might have even unconsciously seen this as a God here pushing out all of the evil that he was doing, all of the war and the genocide and the infanticide and stuff like this, as of course two parts of the same coin. But people not realizing that is the if you want to have one God, and you look around and you see so much barbarity anyway, essentially just people are writing these documents, people are writing these things, then we see that even if you want to get into the mind of God, how can this be that unless we are living in a chaotic universe, in a universe that is just as much death, destruction, decline as it is generation, operation, growing, flourishing, then this is often what you'll find. Then it makes sense that the God of the Old Testament would be like this. And we have to look more holistically at what is happening here, and learn how to understand true light, true love, and separate them out from all of this nonsense, because this God is the devil in the Old Testament. When I say that, I'm not literally saying he is the devil, but this is the way the ancients, I guess, had to interpret many of these things. And of course, we hear even in the old pagan testaments and so on, books, that this one God, Jehovah, was not just the one God. There were many gods around him, and there might even have been higher gods in the kind of pantheon where Jehovah came from. And that God, essentially, as a spiritual archetype, should be what we are looking up to. A God where there is no, for good and for bad, like where there is no bad, though there is just love and a coming together of order, and a crystallizing of all the best things that humanity has to offer. And of course, granting for the fact that, good things, good intentions can lead to bad, of course, and stuff like this. But I just want to rock and roll with that going forward, try and get a little more deeply into what the psychology of all of this meant. I'm just about to start another channel on meditation, basically on healthy living, good living, meditation. Not that I'm a particularly healthy person in terms of diet now, but I hope to get there. But meditation, learning from the ancient mystics. So Meditations of the Mystics is going to be that channel. I'll see you soon. Nice one.